Tonight, community leverage.
What we are absolutely 100% sure of is that the impacts of trade disruptions are felt on the ground in communities.
What local leaders are pushing for in the middle of a trade war. Plus, selling their vision.
That'll build the excitement that we can bring people out to this site and show them what we want to build.
The pitch for a Strathroy Hospice facility and the council approval required. And living with a rare disease.
We have so much hope for the future. He's on an amazing treatment.
Local stories and the ongoing impact at Children's Hospital.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a sluggish outlook for Canada's economy. Our country's GDP declined toward the end of 2025, slowing our growth to a similar pace we saw during the worst of the pandemic. With more, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
At Ottawa's Ideal Roofing, 2025 was a year of constant change and unpredictability.
We've lost some of our American customers because of tariffs, like about a 5% drop. And in Canada, we find there's a lot of uncertainties from our customers and from our suppliers.
The family-owned business says clients are spending more cautiously, and that's changed how and what they buy. Tariffs, for example, have erased their U.S. market for raw sheet metal and coils, which means they're sitting on extra inventory.
We need these tariffs removed. I think that's going to create back the certainty that we need. That's going to remove all these uncertainty. People are not going to be as fearful of their jobs and what's going to happen.
To compensate for all that instability, Statistics Canada says many manufacturers are dipping into their stockpiles instead of buying or making new products, and that's contributing to lower economic growth. In the fourth quarter, GDP contracted by 0.6% compared to a 2.4% jump the quarter before. The drop bringing the country's overall growth in 2025 to just 1.7%, the slowest annual pace of growth since 2020.
It does appear that ongoing uncertainty about trade policies continuing to weigh on business investment, and that's what's keeping the economy down towards the end of the year.
Economists say there are positive signs in today's data. Household spending and total capital investment, including by the government, are up.
On the metrics that currency traders look at, that global investors look at, the Canadian economy is holding up pretty well.
Throughout the first quarter of 2026, most economists predict GDP will be flat. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here in London, local business leaders got together today, hoping to give Canada's trade negotiators some leverage for upcoming talks with the U.S. and Mexico. With more on their strategy, here's Jerry Dewan.
It was a 2-hour closed-door session featuring a wide range of London leaders.
Business owners, manufacturers, cultural industry, tech industry, those in economic development.
The goal was to bring together a strong message designed to help land a new and fair free trade agreement for Canada, the United States, and Mexico.
I recognize that trade negotiations are not a municipal responsibility, but what we do know, and as cities, what we are absolutely 100% sure of, is that the impacts of trade disruptions are felt on the ground in communities.
Among the leaders involved was Pete Ovison, president of Trojan Technologies. Trojan has developed industry-leading water purification systems using ultraviolet light. It's used by businesses and municipalities around the world, including many in the United States. Mayor Josh Morgan says it's one of many examples of companies who benefit from the U.S. market, but whose products offer substantial benefit to citizens of the United States.
I've had the opportunity to engage with, municipal counterparts on the American side. I've had the opportunity to travel to Washington with the Premier. I've had the opportunity to meet with senators and congressmen. And, one of the things I hear is there is widespread acceptance that a positive North American trade relationship is good for both countries.
Dan Granger is president of Sleeger's Engineered Products, which makes pressure vessels for the propane industry and for air receivers. 70% of their business is in the U.S. And while Granger is watching the trade negotiations closely, he wants political leaders to keep the focus on dropping interprovincial trade barriers.
We have all these resources. We need to bring them together into a strategic plan to benefit Canada.
London Economic Development Corporation President Kapil Lakocha says there's been sweeping diversification that's taken place in this region, from agri-food companies to tech entrepreneurs. He says the focus has to remain on growth.
Negotiations are what's right in front of us, but the long-term play is to develop competitive advantages based on intellectual property, innovation, productivity, and specialization that makes us stand apart globally in terms of that competitive landscape.
Morgan says he will sit with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Board next week, where trade and trade impacts are expected to dominate the discussion. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
A major overhaul is coming for Queen's Bridge over the Thames River. As Brian Bicknell reports, for anyone who commutes between West London and downtown, you might want to find an alternate route for a while.
It's a major route from downtown to west of the Thames River. And now the Queen's Bridge is about to get a facelift.
I think it's going to clog everything up. You know, I think basically, go 2 lanes to 1 lane. It's easy to figure out.
You just pick an alternate route. I come from the East End, so there's a lot of construction that way. So you just find an alternate route.
Work begins Monday on the $10 million Queens Bridge rehab from Rideout Street north to west of the river, where Queens becomes Riverside right around Wilson Ave. Director of Infrastructure Jenny Dan says the bridge deck is deteriorating.
We're replacing the entire bridge deck, so that includes the bridge deck itself, some key structural elements. While we're at it, we're going to widen for future rapid transit, add pedestrian connections and a multi-use path. And we're also doing some improvements to the shoreline protections for flood protection.
Traffic will be down to 1 lane for the duration of the project, with temporary full bridge closures from time to time.
Use Horton, use Oxford, pull out their navigation apps and try to look to see where the congestion is maybe a little lighter.
The city says there will also be sidewalk restrictions and closures, and bicycle routes will be impacted as well, with the Thames Valley Parkway closed on both sides of the bridge. Bicycle cafe owner Andrew McClanagan says serious cyclists won't get sidetracked.
It's transportation for them. It's how they get to work, to school, etc. I think they'll still be on their bikes. They'll get a couple extra clicks on the way, but this is a project that's needed.
And it's a little worse for wear, but here is the original plaque for the Queen's Bridge. Erected 1973, Jane Bigelow was the mayor at that time. And during these past 5+ decades, it has never had any major work done.
So we're going to replace that deck so we can get another 50 years out of the bridge.
The Queen's Bridge rehab is expected to take about 15 months, wrapping up by June of 2027. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Good evening, folks. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. It's been a fair weather day and a mild one at that. Temperatures still well above the freezing mark at this hour. The wind's picking up out of the south-southwest, but we have that wind profile to thank for the milder air that is advected into southern Ontario. We're still mild through to, well, at least midnight, perhaps just beyond. We've now dropped a couple of degrees, down to 5. Look at that. But there's some good news. Next week, warmer still. The weekend, though, the next 24 to 48 hours, big changes. Getting colder and could see a rain-snow mix. I'll break down the complete weather story just ahead. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. One of the 4 suspects in the Chesham Place weapons investigation appeared briefly in court today. 25-year-old Fei Han appeared via Zoom. He told the court through a Mandarin interpreter he is still trying to retain a lawyer to represent him. His matter was put over until Wednesday. The other 3 suspects are expected to make court appearances next week as well, all facing a rash of weapons charges. That includes a bail decision for Zekun Wang. All 4 were arrested late last month after police searched a home on Chesham Place in North London. A major partnership was announced today between Bruce Power, the provincial government, and local Indigenous leaders. As Scott Miller reports, there are some big financial numbers involved, as well as critical developments in cancer treatment.
Bruce Power, the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, and now the Ontario government are joining forces to fight cancer with nuclear energy.
If we believe the researchers we are working with, 80% of the cancers we have to deal with right now, either you won't have it because of the vaccine, or we will be able to cure them in less than 1 week thanks to the treatments that are being developed right here.
Since 2019, the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation and Bruce Power have partnered on a revenue-sharing agreement around medical isotope production. One isotope that sterilizes medical equipment, another that's used to treat cancer. A plan to more than double that production at the Bruce meant Soane needed capital. In stepped the provincial government with $250 million from the Indigenous Opportunities Financing Program to guarantee the debt Soane took on to fund their partnership stake in the expanded isotope project.
I think it's very important because it will generate revenue for communities and an expansion and an announcement that aligns with our vision and our values.
A separate revenue-sharing agreement providing $10 million per year in direct community payments from Bruce Power to Soane, along with the Medical Isotope Partnership, will be worth $64 million to both the Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation by 2035, with escalating dividends moving forward.
We've had, long-standing concerns of being excluded from the benefits that, the area is receiving. And others are receiving, and we're working our way toward good relations.
The loan guarantee is the largest Ontario has given to any Indigenous group since creating the Indigenous Opportunities Financing Program in 2009.
$250 million, the largest that I'm aware of, certainly in Ontario history and perhaps in Canadian history.
Currently, Bruce Power makes 80% of the medical isotopes that sterilize medical equipment around the globe. But the kind of isotope they'll be ramping up production of with this new partnership will be focusing on targeted cancer treatment. It's called lutetium-177, which will now also be processed at Bruce Power instead of being shipped out to Germany for processing.
Roughly 200 to 300 net new jobs will be created direct, indirect through this investment as we double down on Canada's nuclear advantage. It saves lives, it keeps the lights on, 24/7 power. We are talking $250 million, but at the same time, the revenue, the dividend of this investment is going to change, have a real beneficial impact in the communities, in the two communities.
Near Kincardine, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Fanshawe College is closing its London South campus. In a message to staff obtained by CTV News, the decision is part of ongoing cost-saving efforts. It indicates affected programs will move to the main campus or the Simcoe Norfolk location. The changes take effect September 1st, and they've already been approved by the Board of Governors. The Wellington Road location was opened to accommodate rising international enrollments, which school officials say have declined more than 50% under recent government restrictions. An Integrity Commissioner investigation looking into a video of Councillor Susan Stevenson has concluded. It's been viewed millions of times on social media since it was posted last fall, prompting multiple complaints. With more on the investigation's results, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Viewed around the world on TikTok, this video of Councillor Susan Stevenson moving video producer Ben Durham's camera during a town hall meeting last September led to 3 formal complaints to the Integrity Commissioner. An investigation spanning 5 months has now determined Stevenson's actions did not violate Council's Code of Conduct.
It was a clear victory all the way through.
The Integrity Commissioner found, quote, as the organizer of the meeting, the councillor was entitled to control the meeting as she considered appropriate. She encountered a difficult situation and she attempted to address it. And as for this comment in a story by CTV News,
there's ways to be a disruptor and try to get views on TikTok.
Quote, in our view, the councillor's comments did not rise to such a level as to necessitate an investigation.
There wasn't anything that I did that was incorrect, inappropriate, or anywhere veered near the warranting of the taxpayer expense that was paid on this complaint.
Durham maintains his intent has never been to disrupt.
I'm not a disruptor, especially when I'm just trying to be a local journalist and share local happenings.
One of the key findings of the Integrity Commissioner was that although the town hall was hosted by a city councillor at a City of London community centre, it did not technically qualify as a public meeting under the Municipal Act. That means transparency rules at committee and council meetings did not apply at the town hall.
The only thing I would change is that we would have established rules in processes in place for any sort of councillor town hall meeting where I think that's been put in place now. But that was a miss on our part.
I don't think I did anything wrong. And I'm just glad that the light's been shone on this, because now, hopefully, things might have changed for other people who might want to film.
Durham's video has been viewed almost 3 million times on TikTok. Likely more people than will ever learn the outcome of the investigation.
There's nothing you can do to take back the damage that's been done, and hopefully what we're going to get out of this is a bit of public accountability on those who choose to weaponize it.
I don't think weaponizing is the right word, because it wouldn't have gone anywhere if the Integrity Commissioner disagreed with where this was going. And I was not the only one to file this.
City Council can weigh in on the Integrity Commissioner's report at its meeting March 3rd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Team members behind a proposed hospice facility for Strathroy Caradog will appear before Town Council on Monday, trying to convince local decision makers to rezone their ideal property. As Sean Irvin reports, getting that approval would be a big step in getting shovels in the ground.
On a rural property on Walker's Road, southwest of Strathroy, sits a red barn and some brush. Beyond the reach of the camera lens is a pond and what's been described as an ideal setting for a hospice, desperately needed by the community.
It's a beautiful spot where people can go and walk out in nature and have their last moments of their life with their loved ones in a setting that is close to perfect when you think about what you would want.
But this donated land is part of a rural farm zoned for agricultural purposes. That's why the board of directors for the new hospice wants the town to redesignate it as institutional. If that happens, the next stage will begin.
Once this land is approved that we can build it on, then that's what I mean. That'll build the excitement that we can bring people out to this site and show them what we want to build and what their money would go towards.
A capital fundraising campaign began over a year ago with no promises of an opening date. In just over 1 year, $1.3 million has been raised, but it will take $5 million before any ground can be broken. If the site is approved, fundraising and a push for provincial funding will accelerate. The hospice is designed to accommodate 5 residents and their families with room for expansion. It's hoped construction won't be far off.
We got an 18-month build, perfect scenario, 2.5 years.
It can't come soon enough for residents looking for end-of-life comfort. Currently, they can only hope to get into facilities in St. Thomas, Exeter, Sarnia, or Chatham.
Well, we've had people in our community that have had to go all the way to Waterloo.
In Strathroy Caradog, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The second annual Slopes for Hope event is underway at Bowler Mountain. For more on tonight's festivities and the cause they're supporting, we're joined live by Lauren Stallone from Bowler. Lauren, over to you.
Thanks so much, Carlyle. Hundreds of people are out here enjoying the beautiful weather and all the festivities, and it's all for a great cause. To tell us more about it, I am joined by Mary Emma Pohl, events coordinator here tonight. And tell me a little bit about where the funds raised tonight will go towards.
Absolutely. We've had the best day on the slopes here at Bowler Mountain today, and everything is in support of Children's Hospital, the highest priority needs at Children's Hospital. So that covers things like programs, special programs like art therapy. We have music therapy as well, and equipment that the government otherwise wouldn't pay for. So this is what's funding tonight.
And people coming out tonight, I see some balloon animals floating around. There seems like a lot of fun activities. What can people expect coming out to the event?
Well, we have live music happening right now until 7 o'clock. We've got a fun zone, balloon animals, face painting. It's just a lot of family fun. Then we're kicking the party off outside at the rooftop patio, where a DJ will be pumping tunes until 9 o'clock, and we've got like lots of fun games out there as well. So we're keeping the party going.
And for people who want to show their support or donate to the cause, where can they go and what does that look like?
Absolutely. So we have a silent auction online, actually, so anyone can join from the comfort of their own home or at the event itself. That's at childhealth.ca/slopes for hope. And that's where you can find that. You can also donate there as well. We accept all the support.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Mary Emma. I'm going to have to check out that DJ later, but for now, I'll send it back to you, Carlyle.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. A Southwestern Ontario athlete will carry Canada's flag into the Paralympic opening ceremony next week. Para-hockey captain Tyler McGregor is from Forest. He and para-Nordic skier Natalie Wilkie will share flag-bearing duties. These will be McGregor's 4th Paralympic Games, previously coming home with 2 silver medals and a bronze. Wilkie is from BC. She's earned 7 medals over 2 Olympics, one of the world's most decorated para-Nordic skiers. The opening ceremonies are 1 week from today in Verona, Italy. When we come back, worth the backlash. Criticism against the Prime Minister for chasing closer ties with India while foreign interference allegations linger.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister has arrived in India, the first stop on his Indo-Pacific trade tour. As Abigail Beeman reports, there are mixed feelings about strengthening ties with India, not long removed from foreign interference accusations.
The Prime Minister is now here in Mumbai trying to pitch Canada as a stable and reliable trading partner for India. While many in Canada's Sikh community don't feel India is a reliable partner for them, half a dozen organizations came together to voice their opposition to a Canadian government official's comments suggesting India is no longer involved in violence on Canadian soil. The RCMP and former Prime Minister previously linked the Indian government to the murder of a Canadian Sikh activist, while a CSIS report labeled India a main perpetrator of foreign interference and espionage.
To tell communities who are continuing to live these realities that this connection somehow has magically disappeared is not reassuring. It is dishonest, it is insulting, and it is gaslighting at its highest level.
While CSIS, neither CSIS nor the RCMP would respond head-on to the new comments from a government official, not everyone in government agrees. At least one Liberal is denouncing the comments.
I strongly condemn these remarks made by the government official because the claim is very disconnected from the reality the community is facing on the ground, and also it contradicts with the assessments of Canada National Security and Law Enforcement Agency, including NSIA, the RCMP, and the CSIS.
We have not heard from Prime Minister Mark Carney about this issue since landing in India Friday afternoon, local time. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Mumbai.
An opportunity today for local families living with rare diseases to share their stories. They're doing so as Rare Disease Day is marked around the world, highlighting the impact of research and innovation. With more, here's Rita Ismail.
16-month-old Caden was born with infantile Pompe disease, a rare genetic disorder that can weaken the heart and muscles. His parents say there was a time they weren't sure he would ever leave the hospital. Today, he's reaching milestones they once feared might never come.
We have so much hope for the future. He's on an amazing treatment. If that treatment stops working, there's another one that we can move on to next. And there's so much money putting into gene therapy for Pompe disease, so we're really hopeful that eventually there'll be a cure or even better and better treatments for him.
Caden is one of the children who was invited to rare disease celebrations hosted by the Children's Health Foundation, aimed at improving care and raising awareness.
1 in 12 people in this country have a rare disease, and they're often diagnosed in early childhood. And so our team here working with these children can give them the chance to actually live the life that we hope children will grow up and live.
Rare Disease Day is recognized in more than 100 countries. Local clinicians say it's an opportunity to spotlight research underway in the region.
We've just received funding for a new app called My Rare Care Bridge. This is going to be a one-stop shop. It's going to be patient-owned. It's going to help communication barriers between patients and their healthcare providers in terms of just saying, this is my disease, this is my care plan, these are my meds. And hopefully that will get rid of some of the barriers in communication that are occurring on the day-to-day basis.
Physicians working directly with families say even getting a diagnosis can be life-changing.
It doesn't matter how the prognosis is. Having an answer, finally, after so many years, is so strong for these families to at least have an answer, at least know why things have happened, even when we say, well, there is nothing to do. It's even better, of course, when we have a targeted treatment for that condition.
There are now plans to create Canada's first regional pediatric rare disease registry through the Southwestern Ontario Rare Disease Program, with the goal of better understanding and improving care across the region. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
There are growing concerns at Canadian libraries over rampant drug use and overdoses. As Adrian Gabriel reports, more and more librarians are finding themselves forced to respond to medical emergencies.
Hamilton, Ontario Central Library is a modern 6-story complex, a multi-use public space that prides itself on being inclusive. Though delivering on its mission statement is becoming increasingly more difficult.
Ultimately, it's been the drug consumption has been really problematic and really disrupting our ability to be a public library.
Since December, paramedics have been called to Hamilton Central Library 105 times. Security have administered life-saving naloxone on 44 occasions. In the first 5 weeks of this year, there's been a total of 771 incidents involving security.
People consuming drugs in the washrooms, sometimes consuming drugs within the library itself.
The CEO of Hamilton's Public Library had suggested a temporary closure to allow for a reset. A board of directors rejected the idea. In March of last year, 2 libraries in Saskatoon were closed temporarily due to growing safety and overdose concerns.
Library workers aren't first responders. They shouldn't have to deal with medical emergencies.
In May, a library in Thunder Bay had to shut its doors after a staff member was assaulted. Back in Hamilton, there's no clear consensus.
Do you believe that this library should close as they work to get a handle on the issues that are taking place here?
I don't know. It's a hard question. We're hoping to find a solution that keeps the library accessible, that keeps it inclusive.
Last year, the Ontario government closed 10 safe injection sites, including in Hamilton, opening treatment facilities in their place.
I would hope that they can see the impact that their policy decisions have made.
An email from Ontario's Minister of Health's office says, in part, that instead of giving people tools to use illegal drugs, our government is making record investments to help break the tragic cycle of drug addiction. Though for now, librarians thrust onto the front lines say the cycle continues to spin out of control.
With fewer supervised consumption sites, the concern among those we spoke with is that the crisis taking place here and at libraries across the country will only continue to grow without adequate support. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Hamilton, Ontario.
Meteorologist Gary Archibald is with me tonight. And Gary, we were off to a pretty spring-like start to the weekend today.
You're right about that. Good evening, Carlyle, my friend. Beautiful day, mixture of sun and cloud, temperatures well above seasonal, and gets you thinking about spring. But it also gets you thinking of the Princess Margaret Lottery. End of February as we approach March this weekend into next week, and tonight in particular. Buy early. That's the best way to approach this. There are over 15,000 prizes valued at over $14 million. The grand prize is an $8.5 million package, a Thornhill show home, plus $500,000 cash. $2.6 million early bird prize is up for grabs. That's a lakefront Halliburton cottage, plus $50,000 in cash, and there's a $1.7 million bonus prize package, a luxury Toronto condo, plus $50,000. Buy your tickets before midnight. That gives you a chance to win a Porsche SUV, a trip to Paris, or take $100,000 in cash. 3,500 prizes of $100 2026 Spring Home Lottery tickets are also going to be won. Cancer is the leading cause of death globally and in Canada. Every ticket gives you a chance to win big and helps fund life-saving cancer research at the Princess Margaret. Visit princessmargaretlotto.com. And remember, midnight is a critical time for that. All right. let's talk big picture in terms of the weather situation. A couple of things to point out. 3 days ago, we thought it was going to be warm. It came today. We thought it might linger into Saturday. That's not going to happen. Look at this. 8 degrees, our high, our low early before dawn. In fact, just after midnight, -8. So we've seen a huge swing, and we've enjoyed a mixture of sun and cloud for much of the day. The wind is a factor and has been since the late afternoon. It will die down towards, I'd say, the late afternoon tomorrow, but it's going to be a gusty next, say, 12 to 16 hours. Temperatures cooling off, but across the board, we're on the plus side. 5 degrees at the airport feels like +1, and the winds steady out of the south-southwest, sustained at around 30 with gusts close to 45-50. The polar air mass has worked its way south across the beautiful Canadian prairies, parts of the Rockies out west, and certainly into northwestern Ontario. The lighter shades indicative of warmer temperatures. Toronto's at +6. Meanwhile, we're looking at -teens across parts of the southern prairies. The cold air could bring some snow, clipping extreme southwestern Ontario as we head towards Sunday morning. Between now and tomorrow at dusk, we could see some rain showers, very light rain if the shortwave disturbance works its way through right across the heart of southern Ontario. You may not even notice it. All right, snowfall tallies projected. This has been up and down. We've seen as high as about 3 or 4 centimeters in Windsor, as much as +1 or 2 centimeters in London. Right now, there isn't a lot of consensus in terms of the computer models. Several models just not in great agreement. A dusting to 2 centimeters is what the general consensus is right now. Cloudy tonight through 8 o'clock, 10 and midnight will drop a degree, 5, 4, 3, mainly cloudy to even increasing cloudiness. And note the southwesterly sustained at about 30 that's projected tonight with gusts in the 50s. So it's windy tomorrow morning. Early morning showers pre-dawn, a high of -2. That's 3 degrees below seasonal for the great city of London, Ontario. We'll be down to -5 with a low of -11 on Sunday. And Sunday morning is when we could see that light dusting. I think it's going to be a dusting. Some of the models suggesting 1 to 2 centimeters. Fair weather, still cold, below seasonal. We'll take it on Monday. We're into March. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, temperatures above the freezing mark. It will be cloudy with a good chance of seeing some showers, even a mix. Speaking of a mix, we'll go from rain to snow over the weekend, -4 followed by -7 respectively for highs through the Midwest. Still cold but fair on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures climbing. Look at this. We'll go from a rain-snow mix to showers. We'll take the rain. Don't like the idea of icy precipitation. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. Carlo?
Thanks very much, Gary. Still ahead, keeping personal data private. The Southwestern Ontario researchers and their app encrypting driver data from insurance companies.
Pure Country 93 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Broadway's Tony and Grammy-winning musical is coming to London. Don't miss Hadestown as part of the Broadway in London season at Canada Life Place, March 10th and 11th. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show on March 10th.
Researchers at the University of Windsor are working on new technology meant to make it more difficult for insurance companies to track where you drive. Stephanie Mazzani has more on the personal data they're hoping to protect.
For some, tracking where you drive, the route, the time of day, your speed, and how much pressure you use to brake determines how much auto insurance you pay. Upon signing a contract with a provider, clients are directed to install an app on their phone that tracks drivers' habits in real time and provides an overall score to the company. That score determines how much you pay.
We must ensure and keep our personal data secret, and it's not good, as you know, to everyone know your data or know your location, know your type of your vehicle or something like that.
But researchers at the University of Windsor say that's not always the case.
One of the most dangerous one is the targeted theft.
This international PhD student and lead researcher says companies may sell your data to a third party, which means they have data on the car you drive, your daily commute to and from work, or even, for example, when you are out of the country, leaving your house vulnerable to theft. Thanks to a grant from the Office of the Privacy Commissioner of Canada, the team has developed an encryption system that acts as a firewall between the insurance company and the driver. So the company will receive the driver's overall driving score, but will not be able to access when, where, and how you drive.
In this case, no data will be released to the company. They can get their score, but without any raw information.
It's a project they hope the government will one day make mandatory to protect our privacy.
All this information can be kept safe and secure.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
Netflix officials are pulling their offer to buy Warner Brothers, clearing the way for Paramount Skydance to complete a takeover. According to a statement from Netflix, matching the new bid of $111 billion is no longer financially attractive, putting an end to the bidding war which began last year. Paramount Skydance and Warner Brothers could merge into a new company which has the potential to fundamentally alter the American media landscape. Canada's main stock index closed the week weighed down by losses in the technology and financial sectors. The TSX lost 162 points. In New York, the Dow fell 521. The Nasdaq dropped 210. Canadian dollar up a quarter cent to end the week. On commodity markets, gold gained almost $54 an ounce. Oil added $1.81 a barrel. Later on CTV News, the Artemis moon mission lands in the slow lane. NASA officials say their original launch schedule was unrealistic. Welcome back. BC's Premier says there will be a public inquiry into the Tumblr Ridge mass shooting.
I am committing on the record that we will use any tools available to ensure that all questions are answered about this tragedy.
The call for answers comes amid new information about how the shooter got around a ChatGPT ban. They were initially banned for making troubling posts on the platform, but according to company officials behind ChatGPT, they say the shooter then made a second account that was only discovered after the attack. Officials also say this activity will now be flagged to police going forward under new safety policies. The Canadian Pediatric Society is recommending cholesterol screening for all children between the ages of 2 and 10. Experts say plaque building up in arteries starts in childhood, and it's a key driver of heart disease and stroke. They say about 1 in 300 people have high cholesterol caused by a genetic condition passed down through families, and universal screening with a blood test can allow doctors to identify the condition early. The creator of the popular hockey romance series Heated Rivalry says the show's second season will debut next spring.
We're going to sell this show. We didn't know anybody was going to watch it. I had not written a second season. I did not know I was going to get a second season, but it's all happening. We're writing it now. We're getting ready to start shooting this summer, and there will be more Heated Rivalry on your TVs truly as soon as humanly possible.
The show is adapted from a Canadian novel series and is produced by Crave and CTV News are each divisions of Bell Media. The expected launch date for Heated Rivalry Season 2 is April 2027. Monday on CTV News, protesting provincial cuts. Post-secondary students airing their frustrations over the changes coming to OSAP funding. That's Monday on CTV News at 6.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Sean Donnelly for this great image. Expect increasing clouds tonight into Saturday morning with a 40% chance of light rain overnight. Most of us in bed at that time. Temperature falls to -1, and then tomorrow colder than seasonal. Fair weather days in order. A colder than average high of only -2, however, with early morning snow coming for Sunday, with up to 2 centimeters possible in parts of southern Ontario.
Federal government officials are warning Canadians in the Middle East to leave while they still can amid rising tensions between the U.S. and Iran. A government advisory says hostilities in the region could resume with little or no warning. President Donald Trump claimed earlier this week Iran will soon have weapons that could strike the U.S. However, there are reports his comments are not actually supported by intelligence agencies. American and Iranian authorities are currently negotiating a potential end to Iran's nuclear program as U.S. military officials build up their presence in the Middle East. NASA officials announced major changes to the Artemis program today while adding a new mission. The rocket carrying London astronaut Jeremy Hansen was supposed to have launched by now, but has been delayed multiple times because of launch system issues. With more on the new plan looking forward, here's John Venevalley-Rao.
In a video hyping the coming Artemis 2 mission with Canadian Jeremy Hansen, you can see the 4 astronauts waiting to blast off on a rocket that NASA continues to say is launching soon. A rocket now being repaired inside of a huge hangar after another issue was discovered last week, with NASA still hoping to launch in early April.
What we're doing is anything but easy, and we've seen that with the challenges that we've encountered.
And now the space agency revamping plans for what comes after Hansen and the others loop around the moon. Artemis 3 was supposed to land humans on the surface for the first time in half a century. Instead, it's now scheduled to blast off next year and stay in low Earth orbit for a test flight to try and dock with at least one prototype lunar lander. Artemis 4 will then attempt a touchdown on the moon in 2028, along with a second possible landing.
So it's challenging, it's ambitious, but with this course correction, we are on a more stable foundation, a more realistic path to the milestones we have ahead.
The decision comes amid a new space race, with China continuing to make progress towards its goal of landing people on the moon by 2030.
I think competition is good. I think it's a great way to, motivate our workforce and our partners, again, to achieve the near impossible. This competition worked very well for us in the 1960s.
NASA is also scrapping plans to build a more powerful version of its Artemis rockets, instead focusing on making them more quickly and launching every 10 months or so.
Everybody agrees this is the only way forward.
Still, some are skeptical of the new timeline, with Elon Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin still developing their lunar landers for NASA. And some question whether either of those will be ready for a test flight next year. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
3 people were killed in a tram derailment in Milan today. Photos from the scene show the aftermath in central Milan. The incident drew a major emergency response, including dozens of ambulances. Italian authorities say at least 38 people have been injured. One of the people who died was hit by the derailing tram. Another was a passenger.
Saturday, 8 a.m., right here on CTV London. It's Weekend Spotlight. I'm your host, Sherry Flick. I hope you'll join us for a great show. We have BGC London, formerly Boys and Girls Club of London, joining us. We'll find out about the story behind Bethany's Hope Foundation. And TJ O'Halloran, you hear him on Pure Country Mornings every morning. We are going to put him in the hot seat. He's a new dad. We'll find out about that and life outside of the studio. Saturday, 8 a.m. See you then.
Finally tonight, a Nova Scotia trucker reconnected with his road trip companion. His dog had been missing for months following a serious crash. Stephanie Sikos has more on the long-awaited reunion.
Matthew Osborne didn't know if he'd ever see his beloved dog Harley again.
He's back home, so that's all that matters. Hopefully many more years to come.
As a truck driver, his dog kept him company while on the road, but on August 12th, they were in a bad crash in New Brunswick.
I basically tried to turn right to get, because I knew the truck went left, so I turned right to get back to the highway. And by that time, I hit the brakes, and the truck went airborne.
This was his truck before, and this was after. Somehow they both survived, but in the chaos, Harley got away.
Poor boy here, he went through the windshield.
Osborne was in hospital for weeks, and Harley was in the wild.
It's been a long road. You know, for the first few weeks, I couldn't even move from the injuries in the hospital. Went from that to a wheelchair, then to a walker, then to a cane. So I had two great parents taking care of me and looking after trying to get my dog.
As summer turned to fall and then winter set in, Harley was still out there.
They had nights up there, it was in the -30s and very cold, but he didn't give up and neither did we.
Exactly 6 months to the day of the crash, Harley was finally found.
You recognize you.
Osborne found out first thing the next morning and rushed to pick up his dog. It's a day he will never forget.
The relief and the worry of it all being over, the stress just dropped.
Harley was taken to the vet and essentially got a clean bill of health. Osborne is beyond grateful to have his best friend home.
Big thanks to everybody that helped, and the firefighters, the ambulance, everybody that's helped for me to survive.
While Matthew Osborne still has quite a bit of recovering to do following last summer's crash, he at least now has his dog Harley by his side for support. Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Brookfield, Nova Scotia.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.